Okay, so you're asking yourself, why is there lime green crock on the table? Well, that's because we are going to be creating a shoe out of clay, and this is kind of what I'm going to be making, a crock. And so to do that, what I needed to do was kind of start with a pattern of some sort. And I just decided I'd put my crock on a piece of paper, trace around it with a pencil, and cut out the sole. So I need a slab to make the sole. And then I kind of just decided I needed to figure out how I was going to make this top part, and I think I'll do that with a slab. And I've decided that this part is going to be a coil, and this will be a coil and a coil. So that's what I'm going to do. First step, making my slab. Alright, so I've got a square block of clay, and there's a couple ways you can make a slab. I always want to start by pressing it down just a little bit, because you cannot roll a piece of clay. That's a big block. So again, if you're rolling, you want to start in the middle and roll outward, middle, outward, middle, outward. You can do that, turning it over once in a while. Or there's another way to do this where it's called throwing the slab, and this is the only time you can throw clay in the classroom. You just kind of gently lay it down at an angle, and the clay kind of stretches out a little bit. So you can see that getting longer. And now it's getting long, so I'm going to make it this way. You don't go straight down. You have to kind of throw it at an angle, pulling it towards you, and it'll stretch. Okay, if you decide to do the throwing part, clay, after you get done throwing it, you do have to roll over it to kind of get the clay platelets back together, because you can see it stretches them out a little bit. So I'm just going to roll, and again, I want it maybe the thickness of my finger. It can be a little thicker, but don't make it thinner. Okay? Put my pattern on, use some type of tool to cut it out. Cut it out. Oh, cut it out, people. I'll get that out of there. Well, I'll use that later. Save that for later. Now, if I'm saving my clay for later, it would be wise for me to put it inside a plastic bag, so that it stays moist. So I'll do that. There we go. Alright, that's the sole of my shoe. My crock. Okay, so you've noticed I've kind of formed the shape of the shoe, and it's very general, alright, but I'm concerned about making sure it all stays together. And now what I would do is I would start smoothing everything and start kind of shaping it the way I want it to be. So I would take a tool and maybe draw where I think the shoe needs to go to. And if I make a mistake, I can just, wipe it out and try redrawing. But, so I'm going to kind of draw the shape that I want on here. And I think the back has to be a little higher, so I probably would put another coil on the back, or a slab that I put on the back for the back side, slipping and scoring, of course. Okay? So then I would take it and eventually cut this to the shape I want. Bend it. I don't need this anymore because it's kind of staying up. Bend it and get the basic shape of my crock. Okay, and I can squish this a little bit. Basic shape of the crock. We're not going to put any holes in it until the clay gets a little bit harder. You can see I kind of measured for the back. I'm going to let this get leather hard. And I measured for the top. And I'm going to let this get leather hard. And then I'm going to attach it. This one actually I could attach right now if I wanted to, but then it's going to get in my way when I'm trying to do some of this stuff. So I would attach that. For the holes, the best way to do the holes is actually to get a straw, and I don't have a straw here, but when this gets leather hard, what I would do is I would put a hole in with a straw or with a pencil like this and do the holes that I want. Okay, so you can do that. I would also wait until it gets a little bit harder, and if I wanted to carve these holes in, drawing them first where I want them, and then I would take a tool and carve through, making sure I don't cut my fingers when I do it. And every time you take something out or do it, you have to smooth it out, and you have to make nice edges, and you know, do all that stuff that you'd need to do to make it be a nice clay project. Okay, but you have to look at, and you notice that what I did too on the bottom here, I put a little piece of paper under there because it's got this little lift on the bottom. And I did put more on the back. So I'd smooth all this out, making it look beautiful. And then I would start putting designs into it after I get it constructed. Do not try to make designs in it while you're still working on it, because you're going to smush them around and make them go away anyway. You see that little crock circle? I bet, now if this gets to be leather hard, where did that go? I don't know where it went. So if I wanted to attach this after it's leather hard, I could slip and score. And then I could put my little crock mark on there. Crock mark on there. And if I wanted to hold this up while it was drying, I would just put a little wad of clay in there to kind of hold it there while it's drying. Be very careful anything that's sticking up off the ground because it's going to be fragile. So I would attach this, slip and score, do all that fun stuff, smooth it down, and voila, you have a shoe. Put texture in it if you want, carve things into it like it's supposed to look, and make it beautiful. There's my crock. Well, not really, but oh well, it's kind of a crock. You're going to take a lot more time and make it look gorgeous.